All right, hello. This is Dom and Nick Wasco. For my semester project, I did a casino style blackjack type of game. So when it loads up, you get this screen. Just basically tells you the basic rules of blackjack and a little bit about the form. So basically, you try and get your card value as close to 21 as you can, but not over. And your score is however many. So if you have a king is worth 10 points, an 8 is worth 8 points, stuff like that. Aces are worth 1 or 11, and basically you want your score to get as close to 21 as you can. If you go over 21, you break or you bust and you lose the hand, and you have to beat the dealer's score, but if he busts, you win. So when you click play, starts up and it plays that noise. And up here, this is the cash. It just shows you how much money you currently have. Current bet is how much you're betting for. Um, so you can determine that by clicking that button. High score is a variable from a text file that comes with this. It should run on any computer since all the stuff is in the bin debug folder. And then whenever you beat this high score, so whenever your cash is bigger than 100 or whatever, it will write it to the text file. So every time you open it, so if I click reset high score, it'll be 50. So dealer has a score of 11 right now. I have 12. I'll just bet all of it and see if we can win. Hit adds a random card to your hand. So see, I just got a 3, and then it changes the next uh, card over here to whatever you just pulled. So if I pull a 5, it'll show up right here. 6, it'll show up right there, determining on when you pulled it. 15, probably not going to win. 19, stay. And when you click stay, your score gets locked in, and then the dealer starts to draw. And he tries to hit a soft 16, which means he'll keep drawing until he has at least a score of 16, but he won't go over that if he has 16, because otherwise it's too much of a chance that he would bust. So he draws cards, and they get added up here. I won the hand, so yeah. So we just made a bunch of money. So now the high score is 100, and it saves that immediately. Um, yeah, if you want to reset it, you just click that button. This is just a GIF, it doesn't do anything. Fold button, so let's say you entered 10 for your bet, and you can't progress the hand without betting, and you don't like your chances, or you get a bad value, you click fold, and the hand is over, and you lose. Stay, you can stay whenever you want, and hit. If you hit more than you can, you'll bust and the game will reload. So if I lose $50, so I can go hit. So I broke 21. It tells you the card you drew to break the hand, and then what your hand was after that. It draws a new hand and then it plays that noise, so resets it. And then if your cash drops to 0, the game will reload. So if I bet all of it and then click fold, whenever you click fold, you immediately just lose the hand. So if you don't think you're going to win anyways. And then it reloads it. For some reason, I don't know why it opens so many of these, but you can close all but one of them and it'll still play. And then the game restarts, high score is still there. So we can reset it, and if we close it, open it, high score is still 50. For the code, at the top, so first thing I did was I imported system.media and system.io for the stream reader, and for the sound player, I got tired of writing it like this system.media.soundplayer, so I just imported it up here. And then for references, I had to add a reference to Visual Basic for the dialog box that pops up when I click Enter Bet, because that's exclusive to Visual Basic. I'm not sure why C# doesn't have it. Um, for integers, there's the card, which is the value of the very first card you get, never changes. Bet, how much you're currently betting, current amount of cash, dealer's first card that never changes. Next card for you gets reset every time you hit the hit button. Card 2, dealer card 2, player hand is the value of your total cards. Dealer hand is the value of the dealer's cards. Count is how many times you've clicked the hit button, so the thing knows where to place the cards. The dealer count, same thing for that side. High score is the variable that gets read from and written to the text file. Can hit is a boolean to determine whether or not you can hit. I have that set up so if you don't have any bet currently entered, you can't start playing the game without any money. Instance of our random class. These are our sound players. So on Blackjack, I set up the sound players as new sound players, so reserving data for that. And then I changed the sound location. These are all in the bin debug folder, so I don't need to do this. So that way, no matter where it's opened, it can still play without having the location changed. Sound files don't work in properties, so I had to put them there. This is just from when I was still figuring out how to do sound files, so I found a better way to do it. This try and catch is on top of every sound when I load the sound player and when I play the sound clips. It catches the file not found in case for some reason the file is missing or corrupted or something, and it will always just show a message box saying that the sound file was not found, and then it displays which file it's looking for. This method takes a picture box reference and the integer value of the face card. So it's used in another script, not script, it's used in another method where I pass up the picture box reference that I want to change, which is determined by count, and then the integer of the face value, and then it changes that. These I'm loading bitmaps from all of the resource areas. This is back from when I didn't know how to use resources. This is a switch, so in case the value of the card from up here is 1, picture box, which is our reference to picture box, equals image 1, which is our ace. If it's a value of 2, it equals the card number 2, and so on and so forth. As soon as the thing loads, we want to set the background of the GIF to transparent. For some reason, it doesn't work very well when I did it with the properties on the designer. It would always just set it to overlap like this. So string line. This is where we start our stream reader, and we're reading from scores.txt. This is also in the bin debug folder, so we don't need a path for it. And then it only has one line to read, so high score equals int.parseLine. And then our high score up in update cache, it determines if it's more or less than your current amount of cache. This is just a bitmap for the face down cards, what it looks like when you don't have any cards of that thing. It's 50 for the starting cache, bet equals 0 as soon as it loads. Setting all of these to equal the face down card, so as soon as the thing loads, it switches all these blank things to face down. And then every time it gets reloaded, or opens, or a new hand gets called, all of them will switch to face down again. This resets all of the stuff for the player and the dealer. It calls new hand, which is a method that resets the scoreboard completely without opening the form again. And it calls update cache, which just updates the scoreboard text. and update cash. This one is how much money you have. This one is your current bet. Um, one of them tells you the information on the player and the dealer, how much they have and what you can't see. This checks to see if you run out of money, and if you're broke, it restarts it. Actually, that's probably why it was opening so many times. I don't want that there. Um, so right here, if cash is bigger than high score, which is from the text file, high score equals cash. So constantly keeping high score updated. And then, so in the case that cash gets greater than high score, we don't want a save button. So as soon as it gets bigger, StreamWriter writes it to the text file. And then as soon as you open the game again, it reads it. And we don't need to continuously read it because it's already stored in the variable up there. This is the check win method. So if the player hand is greater than the dealer hand and the dealer did not break 21, you win the hand. And it just says, this is how much the dealer had, this is how much you had. It gives you your money, and then it calls new hand and update cash to reset the scoreboard. If the dealer has more than you and he did not bust, you lose, and then it tells you what he had versus what you had. If you draw, you don't get anything, and it just starts a new hand. If the dealer breaks 21, so he busts, you win by default, and same for him. Then it just calls new hand. It tries to play the shuffle sound, which is the sound when the application loads and when every new hand gets played. The catch for the file exception, the bitmap for face down, count gets reset to 0 on new hand, dealer count gets set to re-0. These are all the bitmaps again. Um, so our very first couple of cards we want randomized and set face down. You can't change them. Every new hand, they are different. These are all randoms for pulling cards, and then when you pull a new card, it adds it to the value of your hand. Bet equals 0, and then updates cash. This button click is not used anymore. I was thinking of having a double down method where in blackjack it's when you take one more card after that and you double your bet, but after that you can't take any more cards and you finish your round right then and there. So you could earn a lot more money, but you can also lose it. But I decided not to do that. This is the method for entering the bet. So this click sound is just a little mouse click noise for when you click the buttons. It tries to play that. It sets the current bet to 0 in case it already wasn't 0. And then it tries to do this, which is the current bet equals int.parse, and then this is the Visual Basic interaction from the references. And then input box is what I needed. Enter your bet, and then it just displays that and sticks the int into current bet. It plays click sound if it can again, and then it catches the exception, which is invalid math. So please enter valid bet if you enter like a string or something. So if current bet is less than or equal to cash, you obviously can't bet more money than you have, so it'll just set it to your max amount. Otherwise, it'll tell you you don't have enough money. And then it updates all of the text boxes again. This one is the fold method, so it tries to play the click noise. If the file is not found, it'll just catch it and tell you so. And then if the bet is equal to 0, so first it checks to make sure you have a bet registered, then it asks you to do a bet. If you already have a bet, then it tells you that you fold, so you know what you're doing. You lose all your money, bet equals 0, and then it calls new hand and update cash. This is the hit button, so whenever you pull a new card, it tries to play the click sound, as it checks to make sure your bet isn't equal to 0. And then it calls the hit method. This is the hit method. So if you can hit, which is the Boolean from before, so as long as you're allowed to, which is determined by a couple things like if you haven't bust, if it's your turn to pick, things like that. it tries to play the card sound, catches file exception. Next card is the card that is going to be added to the player's hand. It adds that value to your hand and it adds 1 to count. So it keeps track of which position the card is in. So right here, count, this is count 1. I have to enter bet. When count is increased, it jumps over here to there, to there, to there, and then unless somehow you manage to get full twos, which is impossible, uh, you won't need more cards than this. So, and then case 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, those are all our extra card slots. And then it passes the picture box reference. So if count is 1, it passes the reference of picture box up to the change pick method as well as the value of next card. Picture box 4, 5, 6, 7. The code is really sloppy, but right now it works, so I'm satisfied with that. This checks in case you bust from taking too many cards. It lets you know you bust, what you drew, and what you currently have. You lose your money, and it calls new hand and update cache. This one, what was this? Oh, this is the method for saving the file. Or not saving the file. Resetting the main score. So it tries to play the click button noise from clicking the button, and then if your bet is not equal to 0, lets you enter a bet first. Wait, is this? No, this is a different method. No, this is the stay method. That's why I should have commented this sooner. So make sure your bet isn't equal to 0. So after you click this, you won't be able to draw anymore. And then while the dealer's score is less than or equal to 16, he will continuously draw cards, and then as soon as that happens, he will stop drawing cards. So dealer count gets updated every time, just like the player does with the hit. Shows what he drew every time he draws a card, and then this is a switch, same up that calls the change pick method just to alter the picture boxes for what he draws. These are the ones associated with each of the cases, and then it passes up the value of the card he drew. And then if he breaks 21 somehow, if he gets unlucky, then he busts and you win the hand. And then check win does all of the other math for determining if the player gets money or not, and then it updates cache. This is old. I was going to have a new hand button, but I decided to do it automatically. These methods down throughout here contain nothing. I've yet to get rid of them. This is the manual rescore. High score reset button. It plays the click noise, and then high score is equal to cache, so whatever you currently have is the high score, or the new high score. So if I have 40, the new high score will be 40, and it sets it to basically whatever score you currently have. And then it writes it with StreamWriter, same scores.txt document, and then writer.writeline for that, and then it updates cache. So that's all of that. The one thing I had the most difficulty with was the bitmaps and the sound files, loading them and figuring out where to do the whole resources thing for the. I did not know how to do this until I read on the Code Project website. I don't know the link for it exactly, but that's how I figured out how to use the properties.resources. And then for the hit method, or the entering the bet method, I got the code for that from the reference to Visual Basic idea for the use of their special input box. I got that idea from Stack Overflow. And I'm not really sure what else I could really do with this project, but I'm pretty satisfied with what I have right now. I had wanted the background to contain more moving GIFs, but I couldn't find any good ones other than this one. If anything, I'd like to clean it up and make it look nicer, but it works for now, so thank you for watching.